first meeting with the community as a result of our COVID situation. And I'm trying to, what I want to do is not have an agenda tonight. I want to give the residents an opportunity to speak. There is a timer. You will see a timer on the screen because each resident will be allowed to speak for 2 minutes. If there are issues such as street repair, street lighting, abandoned vehicles, oversized vehicles, trash in abundance, any of those kinds of things that make us uncomfortable in our living, I would like you to tell me about those so that they can be forwarded to the appropriate departments for resolution. And we can start with the first person. And I would ask that you introduce yourself and give us your address. Is there anyone that has anything to say?
Good evening, Councilwoman Stevenson. Kelvin Irby, 14208 Elm Avenue. During the weekend of the storm, where a lot of people lost power and phone calls was made to the illuminating company, AT&T, and lack of a response from AT&T, a lot of people's electricity was still out. Also, with the football stadium being tore down, the truck traffic up and down Elm Street is terrible. It's not where you can get in and out of your driveway properly. I've reached out to the Board of Education, yet there's still no answer from them. And that's about it.
So they're tearing down the Shaw Old Stadium.
Yes.
And as a result of that, you've got dump trucks going back and forth on Elm Street.
Right. I talked to Marshall in the service department. He said he'd possibly get in touch with the proper channels, but I hope it didn't fall on deaf ears.
Has anyone spoken to the police department?
As far as I know, yes, I have, and they put me in touch with Antonio Marshall, the service department.
So, okay. Well, I guess I'll have to, that's a police department question because I don't know that Mr. Marshall can enforce a truck route or that kind of thing. I believe that has to be enforced by the police department.
Okay.
So we'll put that on our street situation list. I did receive some calls on that today. I have spoken to Mr. Robinson, who is at the Board of Education and who is working closely with this project. And he assured me he was going to look into it. So we'll check back tomorrow and see what's going on. Any other comments, concerns about your community living?
Rachel Carter, 1285 East 142nd Street.
Mm-hmm.
Street light on the corner of Alder and 142nd, all the way down to Elm and 142nd. The street lights are out and they've been out all winter. I've called up to City Hall and they were saying that they only have one person, But in this community, we need our lights. Especially, and it's getting ready to get warm. I mean, it's a lot of shooting around here.
Mm-hmm.
And we need our street lights on working. And I was on a meeting with City Hall at one time with the mayor and the police, the man and head of the police department.
The chief of police.
Chief of police. They had mentioned that the police would be more visual. I haven't seen a police down the street yet.
Okay.
So I was just wondering what was up with that, and mainly about the street lights because it's dark.
Okay, so this is 142nd from Alder to Elm.
Yes.
Okay. I had to add a category, police visibility. So I will see that the police department I will ask them what their process is going to be to resolve. We're going to forward the light situation to the appropriate department, and the police department will be informed of what you stated this evening. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any others? So there's no problems in Ward 4 that we need to talk about? Well,
I don't know, but where I live at on 142nd, the next street over is 41st, and the next street is Hayden. And once it gets dark, the shooting from Baldwin, I don't know if it'd be Shaw or Hayden, but you know, if the police would just ride down sometime, you know, even Woodworth, it'd be a lot of shooting around here once the sun go down. And I don't know what these people is trying to prove or whatever, you know, but it's just not good. And this on the street that I live on, it's a lot of elderly people. These people been on the street 40 years plus, you know, and we all be trying to look out for each other, but that shooting just need to cease.
okay.
And sometimes it sounds like 2-3 people shooting.
All right.
And they ain't no little guns that they shooting.
All right. Those are, I think, issues that are all over the city and that I've been addressing since I've been in the seat. And is the shooting. Sometimes it comes down to we have to know who's in our community. And this community has a lot of renters, and people come in and they're transient, they're here today and gone tomorrow. And in situations like that, I try to find out who owns the property so that I have a contact person in case there's any issues.
Well, I know on Baldwin, it's a lot of younger people over there, and it's a lot of riffraff at times. I mean, there's been a couple of people that has gotten shot and killed over on Baldwin in the last 3 years or so.
Okay.
Now, I don't know about
Yeah.
Hayden and Woodworth.
They'll have to take that into consideration, I think. I don't know what the police department's plans are right now at this time. Okay. I do know that there's quite a bit of shooting going on in the city, all over the place.
Okay.
And I know that it's a constant battle. What I found a lot of times is, like I said, these people are renting houses and they rent the house out, and the houses where you get the most action or drama are these properties that the landlords are not around. So what we're trying to do is, where there are vacant properties, we're trying to get the neighbors to actually listen and look out for those properties and maintain contact with those landlords, because that's the only way you're going to resolve it. The landlords have to be notified when there's a problem. I think in Cleveland Heights, there's a situation there where if the police is called so many times to a rental property, they start to charge the landlord. I'm not sure specifically how that works, but I do know that that's one of their ways of keeping down a lot of the problems, because the landlord becomes responsible and is charged after so many visits by the police department. So, like I said, I don't know what our police department's plans are, but that's something that they'll have to decide. But I would like to, like you, eliminate, I don't know where all this shooting is coming from, but I'd like it eliminated also. Melody and Price is on the line. Ms. Price, are you going to be working this year again with the groundhog situation?
Okay, I have not got to go ahead from City Hall. Now that they have finally passed a budget, I will see if we have any money to deal with the groundhogs. But usually City Hall will let us know how much we have to spend for the year. I don't know.
So is that exclusive to, are you the only contact person, or?
Rachel Carter was, you just spoke with her. She's a contact person also.
Do you remember what the budget was for that last year?
For the groundhog, no, I don't.
Okay, so is it fair, is it
Pardon?
fair to say that there's a number where people can contact you?
Well, actually, we'd rather have a meeting, because until I get to go ahead from City Hall, I'd rather leave it be, because right now I can't tell anybody and promise anybody anything. I don't know
Alright.
where we're going.
Okay. All right. Well, please silence your phone. Thank you. Are there any other questions or needs in Ward 4 at this time?
Oh yeah, I wanted to bring up again about the since they moved the camera on Elm and 142nd, people have started back dumping over there. And there's been a couple of times that the lady that lives up the street closer to there, she has called the police, and the police have came and arrest people. So the neighbors are looking out for people that do come there and dump, but it's getting to be a problem again.
Is it a vacant lot?
It's the end of the street up there where they tearing the wall down for the stadium. That's
Oh,
the
I know
short
what you're
end of the.
talking about. I know.
That's the short end of the street of 142nd.
Yeah.
That's the end of the street, and that's where they were doing all this dumping. And I just would like to suggest if they could put a barrier up there or something to keep people from pulling back there to dump. Because at one time we had a log across there, but they moved it. So, you know, and it's terrible back there. And I mean, and it draws other animals back there, like the groundhogs or the other big old animals.
Okay. The other thing that we're trying to do in the council office is actually notify people when the meetings are. And right now, the process is for you to call the council office and request to be put on the email list so that you will be automatically notified when we have meetings, council meetings, committee meetings, that kind of thing. The committee meetings are particularly interesting because that's where most of the discussion and conversation comes out about a particular item. So if you'd like to sign up, you can call 216-681-2310. And one of our clerks will be happy to sign you up for a meeting or meetings to get meeting notices.
Can you call there any day?
Except for the weekend, yes. They're not there on the
Oh.
weekend.
Okay, like from 8 to
From-
what?
From like 8 to 4:30 or 5. Generally, there's
Okay.
somebody in the office.
Okay, thank you.
And we actually want you all to come to the meeting so that you can be as well informed as we are when it comes to some of these items and issues, because they can become quite interesting and scary at the same time.
Right, a lot of this information about what's going on in your neighborhood were through the neighborhoods. And the people that, like the groundhogs, the people would sign up for what kind of problem they was having with the other ones, the raccoons and, so on, tires and tree cutting and all that. That was through the neighborhood groups. So I don't know how that's going to end up or what it's doing with that.
Well,
But a lot of that stuff that we're talking about with you, we used to do that in the neighborhood meetings, and like the groundhogs, the man would come to the meetings and explain it and tell us, and we would sign up like that for those kind of issues.
Well, the problem with that is that not everybody has a neighborhood. For example, when they started the neighborhoods, I was here. And I'm still here, and my street has not ever been assigned a neighborhood. There's several streets around me that have never been assigned a neighborhood.
Okay,
So-
if you would
so-
like to become if you would like a neighborhood street club, I could take the information and pass it on.
We have a street club. Okay.
Okay.
We have a street club, and we
Okay,
have
so you're
passed
in-
this information on several times.
Okay, so you should have a neighborhood up there somewhere that you're involved in, but you're not.
No, we don't have a neighborhood.
Okay.
Like I said, we don't have one, and there's several other streets around us that are not assigned to a neighborhood. And that's what
Okay.
I thought was supposed to happen at Noah's meeting earlier this month, but it didn't occur there either. So, and this has been,
Okay.
this didn't just start. Like I said, I've been here since they started the neighborhood. And not everybody is in a neighborhood.
I highly recommend her.
I have a question.
Go ahead, whoever, identify
Oh.
yourself and your address, please.
Kelvin Irby, 14208 Elm. What's the story with the prison? Is it still coming to East Cleveland? Is it not coming?
The Cuyahoga County Jail, there's a website on Cuyahoga County's webpage that will give you some information about the jail. According to my understanding, there's a search committee, and that search committee has criteria that they set. And that criteria is what will be used to determine whether or where the jail goes. There are some things like accessibility to the highway, to the courthouse. I think there's some issues around relocating folk. There are different sets of criteria that they're looking at in order to find the perfect place to put the jail that will possibly hold up to 2,400 people. So that's one way you can find out about specifically what's going on. And that's probably the most accurate information at this time. because there's not a lot of other accurate information out there. A lot of people are saying the jail is coming here. We don't know where the jail is going to go. We don't have control over that. The steering committee does. Then there's people who want the jail to come here, and there's people that don't want the jail to come here. So it's a very controversial issue. Any other issues that we need to discuss this evening?
Hi, my name is Glennis Thor. My address is 1873 Burnett Avenue.
Mm-hmm.
I was called, good evening, everyone, and good evening to Council President Kareem Stevenson. I was calling to find out, I had set some old furniture outside to be put in the trash, and the gentleman told me that he couldn't collect it because I had to wrap it in cellophane. Is that something that is new or that's going on with having for us to get rid of, old furniture? We have to wrap it in cellophane. Do you know any?
Yeah, Rumpke, as a result of the outbreak of, what do you call those things? Bed bugs.
Oh, okay.
That
Okay.
now when you bring out anything cloth and put it on the tree lawn for pickup, it has to be wrapped in plastic. Plastic has to be taped closed all the way around it. If it's a mattress, a couch, no matter what it is.
It has to be
It has-
wrapped in. Okay,
Right.
so okay, all right. I just wanted to make sure that was because I had never heard it. I didn't get anything in the mail about it. So, okay, no problem. All right, we'll get that done.
Yeah, this you can usually get the plastic at Home Depot. If you
Okay.
I think they have it there. Sometimes people don't have the plastic, and I have a wad of plastic that I can generally move around
Mhm.
and to help people out that don't have it. But generally, yeah, you have to wrap it up, couches, mattresses, anything that's cloth.
Okay. Got it. Okay. And also I want to ask, how is there a moratorium on the getting vacant lots next to your property?
No, ma'am.
There's no moratorium on that?
Not that I know
Okay. Okay, because I had inquired and they told me that they were not doing vacant lots. I had inquired building, I think at City Hall, they had told me they was not doing it right now. And I was wondering, was there anything, that anybody knew of or how to get the, vacant lot next to your property or to your house?
Well, it's supposed to be the standard process. I don't have any knowledge of where the administration is with that. But as far as I knew, I thought it was a standard process. That if you
Okay.
had a vacant lot next door to you and you wanted to purchase it, you would have the appraisal done and do the paperwork and come into City Hall, and then they would facilitate the rest of it. That's
Okay.
pretty much what I know. I haven't heard of a moratorium, but that doesn't mean there's not one.
Right. So you have to go to building and housing.
Yes,
that-
that's where they handle that at. Yes.
Okay. All right. Okay, that's all I have for so far. Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions, concerns?
My name is Mrs. Beasley, and I live on Brunswick Road. I'm part of Neighborhood 13, which consists of Brunswick, Hanover, and part of Taylor Road. My concern is the old Warner and Swayze Observatory that's off of Taylor Road. Is there anything going to be done about that?
I can look into that piece of property. At one time, I think it was on the land bank list and somebody bought it. I don't know where it's at right now. I know that it is getting ready to get warm. I know that I've been up there a couple times and run the college kids out of there. I know that it needs to be sealed up. I would have to look and see if it's back on the land bank list. I don't remember seeing it, but I don't know exactly where it's at. I'll have to look and see where that's at.
Right. We had asked that at least signs be posted to say no trespassing. I know every time they board it up, they tear the doors down, so that's kind of a lost cause, but there's nothing up there to tell people that they should not be going in. There was actually a bus load of people who came just last week, believe it or not, to
What?
go into that building. People come from all over, and our concern is someone is going to get hurt in there. But there is not a sign that says no trespassing. So at least we need to try to do something about that.
Yeah, now when those people come, do you all call the police up there?
We have done that a number of times. Most of the times they say if there's a car available, they will send somebody. They have come and run. The kids are here all the time. I mean, come the summertime, it's just a stream of all day long.
Yeah.
Often. So yes, we've called a number of times to the point that most times cars don't come or there's nobody available. So, I mean, we stop at some point, but we do call.
Yeah, when I can, I come past there, and a couple of times I have had to chase people out of there. And they're all the way up on the top of the building.
Yes, they do. They have climbed from the outside when it was boarded up. And I actually saw a young lady and I said to him, you're going to get hurt if you don't get from up there. That's not a good idea at all, but they do. And they're continuing to vandalize it. There's graffiti everywhere, but it's just getting worse and worse. So if you can look into that, that would be appreciated.
And I'm glad you bring that graffiti issue up because I'm starting to notice that Ward 4 is just being tagged everywhere with graffiti. On the buildings on Euclid, I mean, any building, anywhere, they're just tagging the buildings. So graffiti is starting to take on the same look as the litter all over the city. But I will check and see what is going on up there. I know the way the structure is, I don't know, it seems like to me the way it's built, it's difficult to board up because of the cement around the doors and windows.
Right. I mean, they boarded it up. They used to board it up all the time, and somebody just tears it back down again. So
Right.
ultimately, I think it needs to be raised, but we were told East Cleveland owned it, and at that time they said they didn't have money to do it. So I don't know if it's back in the hand of the land bank, like you say, or not. But I would appreciate any information that you have.
Okay.
Thank you.
What is your address again?
My address is 2049 Brunswick Road,
Okay.
and this is Miss Beasley.
Okay. All righty. Anyone else?
Ma'am, this is Joseph Johnson. I'm a resident on 1313 Alder Avenue, in East
Okay.
Cleveland, and I just got the two concerns. And welcome, Madam President. First time we had a chance to speak with you, and welcome to the council in East Cleveland. And also, one maybe my issues may have already been discussed. I did get on the call a little late this evening, but one I just heard mentioned, and I would ask you maybe get some information back to us on this, is that we currently have been looking for the neighborhood adjacent vacant policy. My church here on Hayden Avenue, 1550 Hayden, and we've it's come to no avail. We've been doing this for over a year and a half now, through the appropriate things of appraisals and contacting the city hall and trying to get some kind of a direction. And it's been uneventful. So if there's a moratorium like the woman just mentioned, I don't know. We cannot property be acquired in certain areas for certain reasons. I think it should be at least made available so people don't be exhausting these their time and efforts if that's the issue. And also, another question is coming to mind because I've seen it so much lately in the news, and it bears the East Cleveland name, is the high-speed chases. So I don't know if that was brought up earlier in the call or not, but is there a policy or procedure, and what's? I mean, I think it's a hazard to the community and everywhere else these things go on. So I don't know what's direction on those, if that's even been tabled or asked. And what's our policy? What's our stand on that? We just had one last night, I believe. I read Tuesday morning, I believe, early this morning.
Well, the council has taken a stand on it and has stated that police chases in the city of East Cleveland are illegal. And I don't know, but the policy for the police chases, it rests with the police department. So they have the authority. Generally in a police chase, what happens is once the chase starts, if it's leaving a particular area and going into another area, the police department can call ahead to the city where they're traveling towards to see if they have permission to come through there with the police chase, or if that city wants to get involved and help shut the chase down. That's one option I know they have. What they are actually doing right now, I don't know. I would have to talk that over with the police chief. But the council did vote and pass legislation to stop the police chases in East Cleveland. Now, there, for me, is an understanding that's automatic. East Cleveland can't stop police chases by themselves. We are surrounded by Cleveland, Cleveland Heights, and the other municipalities, Euclid, that are around us. And so for police chasing to take on a different look, I would think we need to involve the other municipalities. And right now, I don't think we're there. I don't even think we've had the first meeting. But there needs to be a general consensus, a meeting where the police departments come together and hash this out, along with the responsible parties in the city. And what are we at now? About 60 chases? Something like that?
Yep.
Too many. I just worry something else going to happen. That's going to be, I mean, we've had bad publicity about it, and we have some tragic accidents. I mean, deaths here in East Cleveland. I mean, I don't know what else needs to be proven there. They're not, the loss of life, I don't think is worth it. I don't know.
No, it's
but
not.
You do
For
have
me,
to put them to in hand.
Right. For me, a $10,000 car is not worth somebody losing their life, either in that car or outside of the car. So that's
plus the liability issues. There's a lot of opens up to a lot of liability for us as a city.
And
the one happened up there in the park up there behind Kirk. I mean, that was really I mean, I don't know what else to be said about. I thought that would have set the president. You know, that one alone. Well, those two people were killed like that. Was 127 bullets being shot and chases from all of them.
Yeah, 137.
37. I mean, that's just unfathomed. Something that happened to the city of East Cleveland. I've been here since '67. I just don't. I don't think we need that kind of we don't need that. I don't think. I don't know.
That was an interesting situation because if you live by that school, you could hear those shots, and you did not know what was going on, but you could hear the shooting very clear. So yeah, that was a very interesting. situation and turned out terrible for everybody involved.
Yeah,
So
you know, that kind of,
we did what we could do as far as the chases and that kind of thing. Now it's up to the police chief and the other police departments. And I don't know
yes,
how
ma'am.
many of them have that type of policy. I think Cleveland is pushing back on giving up the chases, but I'm not sure about the other cities.
Yes, ma'am. And like I said, once again, if you just do your due diligence on some of this neighbor vacant lot adjacent, like I said, we're looking at a property on Cleveland Avenue. I mean, on Hayden Avenue, next to our church. And like I said, it's been a lot of red tape, a lot of fluff. I mean, so if it's a moratorium and certain areas are marked off that we're not going to be accessible to people at current businesses in the area, then I think that should make a statement that people don't waste efforts and time. I mean, that's costly as well.
So you've tried to get a vacant lot?
Right next to our church is. And so I need to take back to my ministry as what we can do. We've been exhausting a lot of efforts, but a lot of uneventful activity. And we've done everything we said, like you mentioned. We went out, got the Piper appraised, and we're in good standing in certain many other ways, but we just can't seem to get the cooperation we need to go forward. But so I don't know if there's something that marks that property, like the woman said, moratorium, it can't be purchased, or maybe, for future plans. I don't know, but I don't think it's fair to keep people in the dark.
What's the
But that's the
address?
issue we're going to do. We're 1550 Hayden Avenue. I don't have the paperwork in front of me. It's the lot next door, but we're 1550 Hayden Avenue.
Okay. And you
Okay.
said you all have tried to get a vacant lot and it's not working out.
It's not working out. So we need to know if is this something we need to put beyond us and go forward with something else, another plan. We need to relocate our building, and we'd like to stay in East Cleveland. So that's what we're looking at that lot now. Okay.
So what is your name again?
My name is Joseph Johnson.
Okay.
And once again, welcome and nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you also.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so we've got this vacant lot thing. It's interesting because that's how we started out last year for the new year. By spring, there were several neighbor next door lots that were available and processed. So we'll look at it and let you know what's going on. Any other concerns?
Yeah, Rachel Carter again. I noticed that they have started putting cameras on the pole. I thought those were illegal in the state of Ohio.
The camera deal, I think they lost. I'm not sure. It looks like they're putting cameras around the school area. The last information or clear knowledge that I had said that the cameras could only be placed around school areas. Anywhere else in a city where they were placed, they would have to be taken down, or the city would lose however much money in revenue. So I'm not sure. I don't want to give you wrong information, but I think that the state may have ruled against that. I'm not sure.
Okay, now,
but they can still collect in school districts.
Okay, someone had asked me about the tickets that they received, like traffic tickets, I think it was. I'm not sure, but they asked me. And I know if you lived in East Cleveland, you could take them up to City Hall and they would dismiss the tickets. Are they still doing that?
You mean the traffic camera tickets?
Yeah, I think.
Yeah, because I don't think they're dismissing the actual traffic tickets. They're traffic camera tickets that they were dismissing. I think it was on Thursdays. You might want to call City Hall and find out. I don't know if they're still doing it because of the COVID. I think they shut it down. You may be able to come in now on some special schedule. But yeah, I would call City Hall and ask if that's
Okay.
something that is still being allowed to be done.
Okay.
Because it was definitely being done. If you lived in the city of East Cleveland, you didn't have to pay the camera light tickets.
Okay.
But don't let people get you confused between the
Oh, I'm
camera
not.
light tickets and the traffic tickets. Because I don't think they're
Okay.
gonna throw them traffic tickets out.
Okay. It probably was the cameras for the whatever, you know. But they asked me, so I told them I don't know, but I would find out for them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's traffic camera light tickets.
Okay. Now, what about, I know at one time they were ticketing people and it wasn't no school in. School was out. And
Right.
they were still giving people tickets.
Because it's still the school's still sitting there. So so as long as I guess the law didn't count on COVID. So I guess as long as they maintain in the school area, those tickets apparently are still valid.
Okay.
And that is not good for everybody, but
Miss Stevenson,
you just try to do the best you can with what you got. Yes, sir, Mr. Irby.
are they gonna do the paint program this year or is it still on hold
Which paint program are you referring to?
for our houses?
The paint program, I believe, is still in the plan for the city. I would have to look again. The plan is in the process of working its way through the council. We were ready to move on it. There's some things that needed to be amended in the plan. And so once the amendments are done, then I assume it will come back to council. But as far as I know, the paint program is still in the plan, if memory serves me correctly. And for that plan, you've got to go to get on that list. You have to go to CDBG and follow their process. So, okay. Anything else we need to have a discussion about this evening? We talked about the
Yes.
track.
Good evening, Ms. Stevenson.
Yes.
This is Eunice Clark. I'm here on Burnett. I have a concern as far as a question maybe. Is there a policy in place for neighbors to maintain rubbish in your own backyards?
There is, what generally happens with that is when I know that people are dumping trash in their backyard, I come in and I take pictures and I send those pictures and all the information I have to the director in community development. And then they pretty much take it from there. But yeah, you can call community development yourself and definitely report the situation. We've had to deal with quite a bit of that lately for some reason.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
The trash the trash receptacles, I don't know why people dump trash in their backyard. It seems to me that the tree line is closer than your backyard, and especially if you want it removed. But no, they should not be dumping in their backyard. That is against, it's a violation of our charter. And sometimes they end up in court.
Okay, I'm
When
gonna
they
get a,
refuse to clean it up, they can end up in court and they can be fined and still have to clean it up.
okay. That's the number again to contact
CDBG,
CDBG.
I don't have community development.
Oh, it's community, okay. Okay, because it's just
You can
rough.
call the basic city number. And the prompts will tell you, I don't know which number it is anymore, but the prompts will tell you when you get to community development, just press whichever number they tell you to press.
Okay,
And the director of community development is Melron Leach.
okay. All right, thank you.
And he generally handles that. And some people end up in court, so.
Council President, I have that number for you. I was able to pull it up.
Okay,
It's 216-681-2192. That goes directly to Mr. Leach.
2192, okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
how are we? How are we on time?
You're fine.
Okay. Pretty much what I see in the city is a lot of vehicles that are either abandoned. They're either abandoned or there's a lot of cars parked in a space or at a house or some situation. And so that's a big concern of mine. We have motorhomes parked on vacant lots. I was out today. We've got a lot of stuff going on these vacant lots. And it's interesting because you can't tell really one lot who owns a lot from what the city owns. And I think that that's somewhat of our problem, is that we don't know what the city owns and we don't know what other folk own, and people are just pulling up and parking there. So that's something that we need to look out for in the communities. The police department, and I don't know, I have to talk to the police chief because I don't know. When it comes to visibility and the policing, it does cut down a lot of problems. And I know, like I said earlier, there's a lot of shooting going on. There's a lot of things going on that are just not recommended to be going on in a community, in a community where there's children and seniors. We've got a lot going on. We've got some problems that we're dealing with in some of the apartment buildings that are long-standing. They're moving towards being long-standing, and we're trying to get the owner of these buildings to do what they need to do to fix some of these things. Some of these apartment buildings have 270 units in them. Some of those people are handicapped and require nurses to come in on a daily basis. And that's not happening because of the breakdown in the systems in some of these buildings. So that's another area where I've been getting a lot of calls, a lot of concerns. There's also concerns around the COVID and COVID testing. what I would like to say to you this evening is that if you need to be tested for COVID, you can call any church in the area. The churches are signing people up as we speak. I think so far there may be up to about 400 people that they've signed up and gotten tested and or the shot. So that's another opportunity for you if you don't want to go to, say, a local shot, a local school or something like that to get a shot. This will give you an opportunity, I think, to go to a more hospital setting. I would like for people to take advantage and do whatever it is you need to do to make sure that you stay COVID free. I am concerned about, and I don't know how many of you know or frequent the gas stations in our area, but I'm concerned because when COVID first hit, the council pulled together enough information to complete a resolution to provide the businesses with a process to deal with for the COVID. But now what we're finding out is that we are wearing our masks and doing what we're supposed to do for COVID. But when you go in these stores and some of these businesses, the people who work there are not wearing a mask. So now it becomes my concern, well, if your people working here aren't wearing a mask, then what is the situation when people come in and they're wearing a mask? Because if you have one person in that business that has that virus, they have the ability to spread it throughout the business and contaminate the items that are there in the business. So I just would like for everybody to just comply. Put your mask on. If you have some glasses, cover your eyes because your eyes are a way that you can get infected. And just do what we ask you to do. We're not interested in sending the police into the businesses to make their staff wear masks. But on the other hand, it looks like we may have to do that because we wear our masks, but the people inside the buildings are not wearing theirs. So it's sort of a catch-22 when you start to look at safety. I'm concerned about safety. I'm concerned about the cleanliness of these business operations and how they proceed and how they respond to the needs of the people coming in and out of the store. I hope that East Cleveland does not become a hot spot. And that's what we tried to avoid in the beginning, East Cleveland becoming a hot spot. We did pretty good at first, but then around the middle or towards the end of last year, we started to pick up, the numbers started to grow. So hopefully we can get enough information out to people so that they won't jeopardize other folk, so to speak, because that's what happens when you fail to put on a mask and you're in business. You jeopardize everybody that comes into the store, everybody that comes into that business. Is there any other comment?
It's Miss Beasley again. I have a question about vacant property. I know it was supposed to be up for sale. It's right next door to me. And I think it fell through because the East Cleveland inspector was here about a month or so ago to do a point of sale instruction. But the grass has been overgrown. The originally owners, one died in end of 2019, and family members left last August or September. I want to know if there's any way to get that property on a list so that grass can be cut by the city.
What is the address?
The address is 2048 Hanover. It's the last house in East Cleveland on this street, Brunswick, Hanover.
This is a house
It's a home, yes,
and it's vacant.
yes.
Okay, we'll turn it into the administration.
Thank you,
Grass cutting hasn't started yet.
I know it hasn't. That's why I thought I'd maybe ask now. So perhaps it's just too long for anybody to cut it with a mower here. And they're all seniors around here that's just not able to.
Okay. All righty, we will turn it into them and let them see what they can do. It shouldn't be too much.
No, they cut the island right in front of my house, and they did cut the tree line last year. I did ask them if they could, but they had a riding mower, so they couldn't get up. It's hilly with bricks around it, so they couldn't get up there to cut the grass. Otherwise, I did appreciate that, but since then, it's just been overgrown.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I have that
Thank you.
noted.
Thank you much, Councilwoman Stevenson.
And actually, I've noted everything that we've talked about this evening. And I'm sure the staff has a list. But we'll put all of this together and give it to the administration, because the administration is the one that has to take on these tasks of making sure that these things get done, the grass gets cut, the street lights. The illuminating company was working, let me see, they were on Hayden at one point, working to repair the street lights. My confusion here is that I don't understand why the lights don't stay on. I don't understand why we have, even on Euclid, we have, and Terrace, we have this like roaming blackout kind of thing going.
Yes.
And I'm not clear on why that is. Once a month about, I'm out riding around looking to see what lights are on at night and which ones aren't, because for me, the city becomes hazardous when the lights are out. So about once a month, I ride around and make sure and note where lights are out.
Okay.
In Ward 4. And right now, I think I have a list already waiting for one of the department heads. So if you know, if your lights are out on the street, just call the office. We'll make the appropriate referral.
Hello?
Hello?
Okay, can you hear me? My name is Jerome. I'm joined the meeting late, and I just figured out how to speak.
Okay.
I was always on mute. But anyway, did I miss the part about the property being sold, or? Because I think I talked to you one time in the hallway at City Hall, and you told me that because there's a moratorium in East Cleveland, that I can purchase the property from Cleveland's land bank, but it's in East Cleveland.
Well, it's not a moratorium. It's where you have to go to buy the property, because the Cuyahoga County has all of East Cleveland's property in the land bank. So they pretty much have the majority of the property. Now, you can go online and you can get a list of properties, or you can call the land bank up and find out what you need to do. But it's not necessarily a moratorium. It's just that the land bank properties are managed by Cuyahoga County.
Even the ones that's listed as East Cleveland land bank properties?
Yes, because it's all, if you go to the Cuyahoga County Land Bank website,
Uh-huh.
their website lists all properties all over the county.
Okay, now another thing, I actually been doing a little cleaning up in the neighborhood. Like how the abandoned houses, I'll go on the property and actually cut the grass or pick up the garbage. When I went to City Hall and talked to them, they told me don't go on the property no more. So I guess I'm supposed to let the grass grow and don't go pick up. They told me, I asked them, can I go on the property and clean the property up? And they said I'll be trespassing.
Is this a vacant lot?
They're vacant houses that's crumbling. That nobody, like, some of the houses are owned by corporations that doesn't come and pick up behind it.
Mm-hmm.
So now I'm getting a lot of trash. The house next door to me is starting to deteriorate on both sides.
Mm-hmm. Where do you live at? What
I
street
live
are you on?
I live on 143rd, about a block from Woodworth. I'm Miss Maloney's neighbor.
Okay. Okay, would you do me a favor?
Sure.
Would you call the office 681-2310?
681-2310.
Yes. Would you call the office and give them your contact information and I will get back to you?
Okay, who am I calling?
You're calling the council's office to speak to one of the clerks.
Okay, are they just going to direct me to leave a message?
Yes, leave a message and I will get back to you.
Okay.
With your name, your address, your phone number, and your email address if you have one.
Okay.
That way I can probably come up with
Is there any planned like committee to clean up around here? Any planned outings or?
once a year, a group comes in and cleans up some portion of the city, but that's just like once a year.
But you talking about Rubicon?
I don't know the name of them exactly.
Okay.
That may be it.
No, I mean amongst us. That's what I mean, not amongst outsiders. Committee amongst us to go out.
Basically cleanups over the couple past years. Some of the council people do cleanups periodically in their wards. But do we have a specific group to do that? No.
Would you think about starting one?
Well, that's why I asked you to give me a call.
Okay.
Okay. There's a lot that needs to be done all over the city, not just in Ward 4, all over the city. And so as we move forward this spring, and hopefully the COVID will stay back, maybe we can get some of this stuff done. Anyone else?
Yes, my name is Glennis. Once again, I was calling and I was just listening to the concerns and issues of the citizens that live in East Cleveland. And I'm kind of confused a little bit with trying to get the property. Is there a moratorium? Is there not a moratorium? Because the empty lot that's next to me, I clean it up and I keep the grass cut and everything. I just make it, when I cut the grass at my property, I cut it there as well. The empty lot, just to make things to look uniform and to look nice and to keep the street looking nice and my property as well. So should I have it appraised and then go up to City Hall? I don't know. Should I do that or not? Or should I wait?
I think you would probably fare better if you find out what all of the requirements are first from the community development or from the Cuyahoga County Land Bank.
Okay, I heard you say that the Cuyahoga County Land Bank owns all the property in Cleveland. Is that what you're saying?
They have control over all of East Cleveland's land bank property.
I have one more question on that note.
Wait,
I was told.
wait one minute.
Okay.
Let me let her finish first, and then I'll come back to you, Jerome.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. Now the address for the property that is vacant next to me, that's the address that I will look up at the Cleveland Land Bank, and then I find out from there what I need to do, what the criteria is for me to purchase that property. When I find out the criteria and I meet that criteria, then I take it to East Cleveland. Is that correct? Building and housing.
As far as I know, yes. But you may want to ask that same question at the county land bank.
Okay, because
they may want you to bring the paperwork there.
Okay, because like I said, I'm really confused because I call myself talking to someone in building and housing in East Cleveland, and and that's where I got the moratorium. That they said there was a moratorium, and this was at the end of 2019. This was at the end of like 2020, maybe, and I had kind of been like searching all through 2020 and 2019. And, it's just kind of been like, well, we're not doing it. Come back. So this last time I came back at the beginning of this year, 2021, they told me they weren't, no, we're not, there's no more land being sold in East Cleveland. Like I said, I don't know if that's because, I don't know. So I'll just go to the Cuyahoga County Land Bank and start there and see if I can acquire this property. Because like I said, I take care of it anyway. I make sure that it's clean of trash, and I try to keep it safe, and everything. So I'll see if I'll try that way and see how it works out.
Yeah, because if there's a moratorium, I will have to ask.
Okay, because I'm definitely.
Because I'm not familiar with there being a moratorium.
Okay. Yep. Okay. Well, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Thank you. Oh, Jerome, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Okay. I was told the same thing that she was told on a number of occasions. On one property, I was told that the mayor is not selling any property on a whole street because he set it aside for some kind of development.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
And these are properties that I know been foreclosed because the last owner of the property told me that nobody gave him, nobody spoke with him before they foreclosed on his property and they took it from him. And now it's in the city's land bank, but he is still using the building. And when I inquired about it, I was asking him, did he know that he was breaking the law by being in the building?
Mm-hmm.
And he said he just gonna stay there until somebody put him out. But the mayor said that and I got a letter from Mr. Leach that says that development around anything around Euclid is not for sale.
Oh.
And the street in question is right across the street from City Hall. It's the little small street. I forget the name of it. But it's the next street over from Dome, going east.
East Town?
No, is it Knowles or Knowles Court? Is that the name of that street next? Not no. I would have to look on a map to see it, but it's the next street, the exact next street from Dome going like east. It's right where they put, I think they built a new pharmacy. where
Oh,
they took-
okay.
Yeah,
I know
that
what
little
you're talking.
street, yeah, that little street. Well, actually, there's a street around back called Court. The street is a court, and it's so bad back there, but it's a street because there's a fire hydrant back there. But it's no buildings, and it's the whole street is overgrown by trees. It used to be a street. That whole area, but now they're saying that whole area is being is being zoned for some kind of they're looking for a major buyer to buy all of it. So they're not selling it or let nobody do nothing with it.
Okay. All right. Now you're giving me information.
Well, I heard the same thing about the Hayden property, ma'am. That's why I mentioned that to you. So if there is something like that, I think it should be eventful to let us know,
Yeah.
so people won't have wasted efforts.
Right.
'Cause that's what I've heard about the whole area on Hayden as well. But they got us. We've run around for over a year and a half now. So that's why some answers would be forthcoming. I would appreciate it.
Okay. So you've actually filled out paperwork and done all of that.
I already got the appraisals, been a land bank back and forth, ma'am. Can never seem to get a good meeting with City Hall. There's always someone in or out. It's just, like I said, the buck stops at City Hall when we've been at. It's been a big rat race. But I hear in the street, saying like he said about the Euclid property, about Hayden property. That's what's heard in the street. So if it's like that, I think it should be eventful to tell the people here so they don't have wasted efforts, like time and effort. That would be appreciated.
Mm-hmm. Well, I can't blame you for that.
I mean, I don't see why they would, but if it is that way, then at least, educate us until we don't waste time and effort.
Okay. Any other land bank callers? We're getting a lot of land bank tonight. The grass situation hopefully will be up and running pretty soon. The bids are going out for those people that's interested in landscaping. That came down today.
I
So
posted
those,
on the city's website right now.
right. So those are up and posted for people that are interested in cutting grass. There's also a series of other jobs that are posted. Some are seasonal employees. Generally, young folk hold those positions. So if you know anybody, go to the city's website. There's I'll say about 10 jobs posted that are interesting. That's pretty much all I have for you all tonight. Is there anything else in closing? Any remarks you want to make?
I have a remark about the towing cars that don't have tags on them.
Right.
And that's in your driveway. It can be on your own property. And they're saying
Right.
that they I don't understand how can they. I actually own 7 cars. And
Are they all in your driveway?
Yes, they're all on my property or the abandoned property next door, which I have to move them. But the abandoned property next door that's the one that I cut the grass on and keep up. So and I kind of park it in the back. Nobody minds because there's a moratorium on I keep saying that word. Nobody wants to sell the property and the property is crumbling. Each winter, the property's been abandoned since I moved in here. That's 7 years ago. And every day it crumbles more and more.
Okay. Do call that number and leave me a message so I can contact you.
Okay,
Okay?
yes. Are the people on here, these are, all the people on here are really from our neighborhood, mostly?
Yeah, yes.
They can hear me?
Yes.
I'm told that if I get a appraisal on my house, that I would raise the value of the houses around here. And I don't know whether that would be good or bad. And the reason I say this, my house is listed at like, 20-something thousand, 28,000. And I have floors that cost almost that much. So if I got an appraisal, my house would go up, but I know my taxes will go up and my neighbor's houses.
Well, that all depends on the comparison value also, because an appraisal actually takes in, I think, 3 properties, your property and 2 alternates of the same quality. So I don't know, you would probably just have to risk it and have the appraisal done and see what happens. The appraisal is just a document. It doesn't turn, I don't think, into an instrument unless you file it with the proper tax people. And at
Well,
that point,
if I wanted to take out a loan, I would have to file it, right? For the amount.
not necessarily. If you not, I haven't done that in years, but not as I recollect. No, you would not have to. If you wanted to get your house refinanced, you don't have to. Once the appraisal comes in, if the value is there, then they'll refinance it based on the value, but the value has to be there.
Okay, but it wouldn't, it will affect some of the property around me.
It depends, okay? It depends on the quality of your house versus the quality of the houses around you. Because, for example, I'll give you a perfect example. We have a house that was purchased for $1,000, less than 100 feet from me. And pretty much what happened is when you have a appraisal done, they look at that property and they looked at 2 other properties. And so in some instances, people lost value because of that one particular sale, which impacted the next sale, which was for $32,000. So if one of my neighbors had an appraisal done on their house, then that appraisal could come in at 32 because that's the 3rd appraisal. And the last house that sold in the area probably sold for that amount of money. So you have to keep that in mind. You need to look and see what sold last. Because there's a lot of factors that go into building that appraisal. And the last property that sells in an area is a big factor.
Okay, well, that wouldn't be for much.
And that's what you run into. You can put a lot of money into your house, but if there's another property close or within that radius that appraiser uses that's low, then it'll squash your property out too. So it's I don't know, it's kind of a balancing act.
Okay, I think I got it, but I think they couldn't take my house down any more than it is.
Right. But then they would just say you aren't eligible for the loan.
Right. I mean, that's but I would have to file it because I think I can't give it to them. I think I would have to file it with the city for it to become like real. You know, I can have an appraisal done, and they can do an appraisal, but it wouldn't mean nothing until the city says it's like I have to get a done by one of the city's appraisers, one of the city approved appraisers.
Well, the city doesn't have a home appraisers. We have housing inspectors. And at the point that there's a point of sale inspection done on any property that is sold in the city, but we don't have appraisers, only inspectors.
With that being said, how do we get the people to inspect?
You have to call community development and ask for an inspector to come out, and I think they'll put you on a schedule.
Okay, and this is for like neighbors' houses that's not keeping up their houses. Do you just inspect your own house, or could
Well,
you say,
if they're not keeping up the property, then I'm sure, like I said earlier, that the community development office would handle that with regard to violations and things of that nature.
Okay.
That's what they do.
Okay, I don't want to hold nobody up. I'll just leave this for later, and when I talk to you later, maybe you can
Oh, sure.
help me out with it.
Any other closing remarks? Well, we scheduled to be here for 2 hours.
Hour and a half to 2 hours. So you're
Yeah.
you're at an hour and a half. You did good.
Yeah, we're at an hour and a half, and I'm glad you all came, and I'll be glad to meet with you in person in the coming months. Hopefully this COVID thing will go away. I'm just so tired of this. But it was nice talking to you. I'm glad to know your concerns. We are going to move this information along to the rightful owners, and you all enjoy the rest of your evening. Thanks for
Okay.
coming.
Thank you and goodbye.
Good evening,
Thank you.
everyone.
Thank you. Very informative.